Oops. Turn this around. I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to give a quick demonstration real quick. Here a while back there was some controversy on how to mix floor patch. Some people do it in a pile on the floor and put water on it. Some people will do it in a bucket and stuff like that. I just want to give my feed on it, how I do it. And also people have been asking what is the best bucket to use that'll withstand mixing mud multiple times without busting. A lot of people will take it after it dries out and pound on the side of the bucket, and the stuff will chip out, and then they'll just dump it out. Well, this right here, let me turn the camera around. This right here is what I use. It's a metal pail. I think it's like a 2-quart. Actually, the numbers are right there on the side. I don't know if it might be a 4-quart pail. Anyway, you can get these in the paint department at Lowe's, and you can see the edges of it are ribbed. It's all ribbed out from the way I mix my mud, and I'm going to show you that. This, I can have it forever. I've only had 2 of these in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, because as soon as I get done, I clean them out. As you can see, every once in a while you'll get a little bit of built up stuff that won't come out. Right there you can see a little bit, but that's okay because it's already hard and it's not going to go anywhere. But anyway, I just wanted to show real quick. I use, go ahead. I use a, it's actually called a fan paddle, and I get it at Lowe's. Hang 1 second.
He's awesome.
Okay, so this is, I just bought one this morning because my other one disappeared somewhere. Anyway, can you see it? This is what I use to mix it with, and you can see exactly what it is. It's a fan blade mixer. And what's cool about this is these things, if you look real close right there, see that? It comes with a little Allen wrench. You can loosen this and slide it up and down on this shaft depending on how big of a bucket you want to mix with. I use this little metal pail, so I keep them all close together. And anyway, I am fresh out of this, and when I went by the supply warehouse this morning, there was out, actually yesterday morning, somebody came in and bought 75 bags. So I have to use the 886, which is not a bad product either. So.
Dakota says, I've always mixed on the floor. Mixing in the bucket, how long before it gets chunky?
It just depends how thick you mix it and how much you mix. That's and to start out with, I always put, instead of just having a dry pan to put it in, I'm going to go ahead and start off with about a ½ inch or an inch of water in the bottom of my pan. That way the bottom of the pan is not all dried and clumpy when I'm trying to mix it. And again, that completely depends on how fast you use it and how much you mix up. Naturally, if you mix up too much to where you got it sitting in the pan for 20 minutes or something like that, it's going to get clumpy. But with this paddle bit right here, or the fan blade, I'm going to go ahead and add some more water because I can tell it's going to take it. Look right in here. It's going to be a little bit loud, but I want you guys to see this in the sink here. Okay, now I want to point out, I want you to look in that pail right there, and I want you to look as I do that. This is perfectly silky smooth mud. You're not going to have any clumps or anything in it. Watch this. Look at that. that is completely smooth. You cannot get a better, you cannot mix like that on the floor. You can't mix like that with by hand using a mixing, and that's how I get the excess off. I'll just, oops.
Daniel Page says, also depends on temperature. I always try to do floor prep in the AM. Think your channel is great. Pick up heaps of great tips from you.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. And this thing right here is real easy to clean off. I'm going to just run water on it and just run my hand on it. And I'm not going to do it wide open because I don't want to make a mess. But as the water's running on it.
Hello, Anthony from North Carolina.
As the water's running on it, I just let it turn real slow and put my hand on the bottom of it real slowly. That way it knocks off the end, and I'm going to stick my finger in there, and that cleans off the inside of it, okay? This thing right here will last a long time. I just lost my last one, but if you look at that, all over, it don't even, you can just see a little bit right there. But anyway, these things will stay clean and stay in good shape for a long time, as long as you mix them, clean them off every time you use your mix. Let's come in here and take a look at how silky smooth this works on the floor, this floor patch. And with this, I'm able to come in here and carry it around with me anywhere I want to go. Like right now what I'm doing, because there's a lot of light. There's a lot of light coming in there. So anywhere there's a seam, I sand it over them with my floor edger, but also because there is so much light, I am hitting the seams with mud just to make sure that we don't have any visible seams in my underlayment. A lot of times you'll have to do that if you're if there ain't a whole lot of light coming in. Like if you're in a living room and there's furniture everywhere, you don't have to worry about this right here. But with a lot of light coming in those double doors down there, I do want to make sure it is slick as possible. And a super awesome thing about that, see, I just poured me a little bit of powder right there. I still got all that right there in the pan. I can take and push it over wherever I'm going to need it and spread out my mud. And I don't have to worry about leaving a pile or dragging a pile all the way across the room with me whenever I want to move. So you see there, because this is on the floor, it does gather up dust. And if I mixed it on the floor, every bit of the mud that I'm pushing around would be gathering dust, which I've already push broomed it with a push broom and all that stuff, but you still cannot get every bit of the dust. So whenever you're pushing your mud around, it's constantly getting thicker because it's picking dust up off of the floor. If I mixed my mud on the floor, I would be pushing every bit of it around, and it would just get thick really fast because it's collecting dust. This bunch right here that I just now did is already getting thick because it's picking dust up off the floor. But I have some nice, fresh, look right here. I still got some nice fresh mud right there. Can you see it moving around? Mm-hmm. That's not thick and fresh and ready to go again.
Sorry, Dakota Helper says, what's your opinion on the size of a patch trowel for floor prepping?
This one right here, I used to have a small one. This is a 4x14. I've been doing a whole lot of solid surface lately, so I did step up. I usually use just a regular size, but again, since I have been doing a lot of floor prep with the solid surfaces here lately, I thought I would get a bigger one, and I really like this. I will continue to use this even if this one gets bent or whatever. I'm going to buy another one just like this. I really like the width of it. If you're feathering stuff down, like say right over here, if you look right over here real quick, there was a huge hump right here. I've still got to go over this a little bit. I've got 2 coats of mud on it right now. I put a thick rough coat down. This was probably 3/4 of an inch higher from here to right here. I showed that last night in the video. And anyway, you can see the results after 2 coats, and then I take my little palm sander I got, and sand over it. And you can see the dark spots is where the sander did not get. All the white spots is what the sander hit. So these dark spots, like this right here, like these spots right here, are actually sunk in just a little bit, so you can see exactly where you need to mud again if you use the sander, because it's going to stay dark and not get white looking. So anyway, this 4x14 is awesome. I really like it.
Anthony from North Carolina says we use backpack vacuums to pick up all the dust before we patch.
Okay, that's awesome. That's great. I don't have that. I have a push broom and a little sweep broom, and that's all I've ever used. But I just never have used. I don't even use a shop vac on the job. I will go around the edges with my conventional house vacuum that I vacuum the carpet with after I'm done with the job. I go around the edges with the hose, but outside of that, I don't use a vacuum for anything as far as dust. Because believe it or not, I know this might sound a little bit crazy, but I can get a floor cleaner using my push broom than the average Joe can with the shop vac, and I promise it's been proven time after time. So that sounds a little bit out there, but it's just a fact.
Warren said he loves your videos.
Thank you, Warren. I would stop the chat for a second, but I just wanted to show this, and I got to keep going so my mud does not set up. Okay. Again, I'm out of mud again. That's getting thick, but I still have fresh mud right here. So I don't see any advantage at all of mixing mud on the floor at all. And using that fan paddle that I use in there, you cannot get it any smoother. If you're mixing by hand, you're never going to get it as smooth as this right here. Never. This is a 100-year-old building. The building is over 100 years old, so there's nothing about it square or level. Even with underlayment, there's still humps and stuff in the floor. But I don't want my seams showing in the floor. If there's a hump that's already there existing, you know, fine, it's a 100-year-old building, but I don't want my 4x8 sheets of underlayment seams showing throughout the job, so that's why I'm doing this.
Matt Williams says, just got done with the underlayment and LVP job last week. Had to tear up 5 layers of flooring first.
Dang.
Wow.
Carpet tile job. We did a carpet tile job a few weeks ago, and I think I don't know if I put it in a video or just did a little thing and put it on Facebook, but we had 2 or 3 layers of vinyl, carpet, and a couple layers of the sticky tile or VCT tile, one of the two. It was like this thick of just material that we had to take out of the
office buildings.
Huh?
The office buildings?
Yeah, the office buildings. The server room where they had the server for the internet. The flooring was layered up that much. There was 5 or 6 layers in there. So I know what you mean, and that really sucks. Okay. Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to show. Like I said, I got a lot to do, so I just wanted to show that. And look at there, I still got good fresh mud to deal with. And I've done show everything I've done right there. I've already done all this, and I still got good, fresh, soft mud to work with. You can't do that mixing it on the floor. I'm not dissing anybody that does. Again, this is just what I feel works best for me, so I wanted to show it. And if you have good success for mixing it on the floor, by all means, do it. I'm not trying to persuade anybody changing their ways or anything. This is just my opinion, and why I feel this way is why I'm explaining this, so you can see where I'm coming from and see the results.
Matt Williams said, these people had ceramic tile, then plywood, then vinyl, then underlay, then more vinyl.
Dang.
And Joe says, how are the shoes?
Okay, come here and take a look at them. I don't know how long it's been since I've done that video, but I have done about 3,000 feet of LVP, numerous amount of stretching jobs, over 4,000 square feet of carpet tile in them, and you can see they're holding up about just like a pair of Nikes would. There's a little hole starting right there, and same spot, same thing on the other side. Right there's a little hole going, but I tell you what, man, they are by far the most comfortable shoes I ever had in my life. I will be ordering more from Amazon. These are my permanent work shoes from now on. I'm so thankful for Nick Espinola over in California, in Sacramento, from Gold Coast Flooring, that turned me on to these shoes. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it, buddy. I love them. But they are doing great, okay? Alright, so I'm going to get out. I just wanted to point that out and give my views on...
Dakota says, what does patching the seams help with?
With a lot of light coming in like that and you do some sanding, you only sand naturally. You only sand just enough to make it level, really fast. I run over it really fast with my edger. But believe it or not, even that I just barely hit it, if the light comes in, if you got a room with a lot of light, just as we do here, you're still going to have just slight dips in the floor. I mean, very slight dips. But with the halfway shiny LVP that we're putting in a wide open area like this, you would see those, you would see each seam in the LVP. It would telegraph through. You would see the dips in it like that. Just the slightest bit where I sanded will make a big difference. You know how if you get something under sheet vinyl, something is really tiny as a piece of sawdust will be amplified and look like a BB. So a small dip is the same way. If it's very small, it's going to be amplified and it's going to look a lot worse than it actually is. So this barely dipping in where I sanded, this mud is just leveling everything back out to make my seams in the underlayment completely level. So that's why I do that, just for, like I said, I don't always do that. It's just in this particular area where there's a lot of light. If there is a lot of light coming in, I will do it. So that's the purpose of that.
Joe said he ordered him a pair of those shoes, and thank you for the advice.
Oh yeah, you like them, Joe?
I don't know that he's got them yet. It just says,
oh, okay.
I ordered a pair. Thank you for your advice.
Okay. Again, I've already done a bunch, and I've still got good, clean, smooth mud. Again, I can't stress that paddle bit enough. That fan mixing thing is awesome.
Next week, he'll have them.
All right. Be sure you go to that video where I was talking about them and leave a comment so people can see that other people are getting them. I don't get endorsed or anything by anybody, so all this stuff is just for installers' benefits. So if you'll go to that video once you get them and try them out and stuff like that, and just give your honest opinion on them, that way other installers can benefit from them as well, okay? That's just to help your fellow installer out there. Just about to be in my mud, and this will be my final coat. My final coat right here, and then I'll take my palm sander and sand over it one more time. I use a 60 grit, something that will eat anything off that's sticking up a little bit, maybe. Something that'll eat that down real fast and get it nice and smooth. That's how I finish out the mud. It just works really well. It's a lot better than scraping over with a razor scraper. I used to do that all the time, and I think I mentioned last night that I'm a woodworker by hobby, and I started using my palm sander on the mud, and I really like the results. So it's been in my van for a while now, rather than in my wood shop. I actually got two of them. I guess I could just bring one and leave one at the house, but I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Joe said, let me go get my phone so I can read it to you. I made a homemade winch to rip up glue down carpet.
I've seen people do that on YouTube where they do it with a jack or whatever like that. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Okay. So I got to make a little leap right here because I got to get back over to the sink.
Ta-da!
Okay, so I'm going to come in here in the sink, wash this out, and it'll be just like it was new. And go ahead and mix up some more. I got a little bit more to do in there by the doors and patch the nail holes and stuff like that. Anyway, I just wanted to give my take on the best way that I feel is the best way to mix mud and get the best results out of it. See, show everything I've done right there. You can't get that much all the way from here. You can see what's fairly fresh. All the way from there, all of this, and all the way in through there.
Matt Williams says I use the same paddle.
That's awesome. They work really well. And by the way, those are going to be in the sheetrock department. If you go where they sell the sheetrock supplies in Lowe's is where you will find that, okay? And again, look at all this that's done with one mixing of mud in my bucket. And I was able to transport it, carry it around with me everywhere I go. I didn't have to drag no big pile of mud everywhere I went. So, okay, that's my take on it. FBSB is out. I still got a lot to do today. This is the last day. Had 2 days on this, so I got to get all this covered up and base running everything tonight yet. So, cheerio. FBSB is out.
How do I stop?
Oh, that X right there.